Hi, it's KT with MCS. Gonna do a quick video for you on the PTR shooting, and I have chronograph here. This is a ballistic grade chronograph. So this is a round balls. Let's see how it shoots. Right, first shot, 250, error, 240. 254, 248, 254, error, 261, 255, 259, 255, 247, 254, 259, 256, 259, 258, 261. Not shooting too bad. Keep in mind, we're shooting round balls. At the same time, your air tank and stuff also make a good deviation. So let me switch an air tank for you, and I'll show you with a different air tank. It may also change the velocity as well on its consistency. Something to keep in mind if you're gonna do the shot. So I got a Ninja 13 CI tank. Alright, let's do another mag. Let's see, first shot. Error. Looks like my battery's low on this one here, so let's use another chronograph. Alright, got another one here. So this is a different version chronograph. This one is not as accurate. Normally when we do testing to ship out product markers, we use this one just to get a general idea of where the shot is at. But when we do actual testing to get a more precise reading, then we use the ballistic version. So let's see how this one does. 236, 240, 237, 241, 237, 234. It's shooting low, so this chronograph reading lower, and this tank, you can see that the velocity is a little bit lower than what we shot earlier. We were shooting in the 250, 55, and now we're shooting at about 230 something. So if you are doing velocity tests, you probably would look at the air tank to see the kind of output your air tank have. All right. So some of you are asking about velocity adjustment. So on these right here, you can take it out. And we have this new version of the pin. The previous version, it's kind of push and then pull. This new version we just kind of pull it out straight. Has a little detent there for you, and just take it out. And then your locking thing, just depress, take it out, and then you can adjust your velocity up and down based on what you like. We also give you a bag of springs too. So these are they're different colors. The red one is the highest, and then the blue one. So red is highest, blue is medium, and then green is your lowest. Depends on the markers, depends on the barrel, depends on the tank. So your velocity will change based on what combination you're using. Of course, using a longer barrel, say like a 20 inches barrel, your velocity can go down. If you're using a short barrel, say like a 5 inches barrel, your velocity is going to go down. One is the extreme each other. So you have a long barrel, a lot of friction, a lot of drag, so your ball slow down as it exit the barrel. So for sure you can lose velocity. If you're in a short barrel, there's no compression in the barrel, and of course your velocity also drops. So the mid-range barrel are from 10 inches to 14. Those are the best length as far as to keep the velocity, maintain that velocity. That doesn't mean that the performance of the short barrel is any worse than the other length. It just depends on your adjustment. Say you are shooting a longer barrel, your velocity goes down. Of course you have to increase the adjustment to compensate for that drag for exit barrel. Of course, shooting projectiles all depends on different factor, right? You have your bore, which is the size of the round, and you have your the barrel ID, which is also the bore, right? It's also both of those things can conducive to the size, the shot that you're gonna get. So you have good bore sizing on the barrel, good ball sizing on the round itself. The combination of both will get you the best. Of course, balls can be inconsistent, so sometimes you get a little spike in velocity or drop in velocity. The ball can go in the wrong angle and also cause that as well. So once in a while you can have a flyers. I wouldn't be alarmed, but if you really like a true shot, then you gotta get a combination of a perfect, then that you would have a best velocity consistent shot possible. But we do give you these extra ones, so you have different ranges as you take in. Of course there's a range on velocity too, so when you change velocity you still have an adjustment here. I would go, if you want to shoot, say right now I'm shooting 230 something, and this adjustment will probably bring up to like about 250. So the adjustment here will give you an extra 20 feet per second. So you want to get the spring that closest to the velocity you want to shoot, and then use the adjustment to fine tune it. Let me show you a trick. If you guys using air tank, let me show you a trick that I use to kind of change velocity really quick in the spring. That way you don't have to fight with it a little bit. So say you have an air tank right here. What I normally do, I bring it up a little bit, and then you can depress and then pull your guy bar up. And from here I kind of, depends on the bonnet too. Some bonnet gets stuck right here. You can kind of position to the right location, and it will pull this out first, of course, right? Your locking pin there. That's important. Don't shoot your gun without this. This will protect the cap here from being damaged. And you depress. I rotate this on the side. See, it's on the side. It doesn't get away. I depress this, and I can see it's come right out. So this allows me to change my velocity or swap out the spring. So you can adjust it based on what you're looking for, and then you just go back and then depress it, rotate, lock it in, and then you can rotate this over, drop it down, and then bring it down. Okay, that pretty much as far as velocity goes on the PTR. I'm gonna do a subsequent video on how to do the adjustment, the trigger adjustment. That's the biggest factor in the PTR system, is the trigger system, and I will I'll be doing a video for you later on how to take it apart and put it back together, and then fine-tune your adjustment on the trigger, because when we ship this out, we use like a medium range trigger. So let me show you really quick, especially this one right here. Put it together, and I'll show you the difference in the trigger. I did a video I think last week to kind of show you the trigger, so that way you can see how the adjustment is like, and how the way it pulls. So see how the take up right here. So when you pull the trigger, see how it's kind of give you that take up before the trigger breaks, right? And so you can actually adjust that. You can actually adjust where there's zero movement before it breaks, and then give you like a more responsive trigger when you actually push. When you pull it, there's actually really little travel. You can adjust down to like about 3 degree of trigger pull, and so as soon as you pull the trigger, bam, it's release the striker, and then your firing cycle start. As opposed to you have a longer travel like this one, you can hear, actually save it here. You can hear how it breaks right there. So you can hear the breaking of the trigger, break, break, break. So you can eliminate that movement. You go to the take up, you can eliminate that take up completely. All you have to do is just go from here, boom. So your trigger pulls like almost like a hair thin trigger pull. We also have we call the level 3 striker, and we're probably going to release that pretty soon. That allow you kind of change to different position on a striker. It has the strike has 3 positions, so you can actually rotate it in 3 different segments. Then that way, if you want a really hair trigger, you can actually just turn it to the position that you want, and then you can actually do a real light trigger pull. I will on the tech video, I will show you how the trigger, how the striker looks like. That way, when you do on a semi-automatic system like this, it's not really necessary. But if you're doing the DMR system where you want your trigger to be light and to be really easy, light pull, then that's probably the setup that you want to take. Right, I hope this answers some questions regarding the PTR shooting. I know a lot of you asking for it. We've been quite busy for the last couple of weeks putting these markers together. I know a lot of you guys already placed an order and you're waiting for it. We've been testing these things like crazy, shooting, making sure that each unit we shipped out has the consistency and the quality that you expect it to have. And of course, we will make mistakes in one point or the other, and you can receive a unit that's not to your expectation, or something's not working right. Contact us, and then we'll get it straightened out for you. All right, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you guys out there. Thank you.